Streaming. Good stuff. So welcome to the hybrid meeting of the Governance, Resources and Strategy Committee. Can I ask everyone to please mute their microphones at all times unless invited to speak by myself? For those of you who are physically in the council chamber this evening, can I please remind you that when speaking into your microphone, you need to wait until you see yourself on the screen so the live feed can pick up your comments. If you speak before your image is projected, those listening on the live feed or via Zoom will not hear anything you say. This is obviously particularly important in the case of a vote being required. Any apologies? I've had one from Councillor McConville Walker. Any other apologies? No. Declarations of interest? Oh, Councillor Flaherty. Oh, what's this here?
I don't know what's going. I can hear it. Thank you, Chair. No, just a tentative apology from Councillor Kyle Savage. He may get logged on. He's just caught with something. Thank you.
So declarations of interest, as I say, I'll take them as we go through. So the first item then on the agenda is 3.1, and it's a consultation documents from external organisations. They're in your papers, members. If any questions, and I'll bring in Councillor Lavery.
Thank you, Chair. Happy enough with most of them. It's just on the second one relating to consultation on onshore petroleum licensing. Note we've been consulted on the preferred option of the policy, and the policy paper is a moratorium on the practice, and then an eventual legislative ban on exploration and production of all forms of onshore oil and gas in Northern Ireland. I think this is to be welcomed by all. I think maybe all parties are on board now at this stage. So I think it would only be appropriate that we also share, our views as a body and respond to this consultation, support the preferred policy paper regarding, that direction. I think it's something we can all get behind, just, with environmental concerns and that. So happy to propose with that, amendment related to that consultation that we, respond in favour of the preferred option there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lavery. We propose it. Councillor Ferguson, bring in.
Just happy to second that, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ferguson. Members, proposal that we respond favourably in relation to that consultation document. All agreed? Enough. In terms of then the proposer and seconder in relation to all the consultation documents. Proposed by Councillor Lavery, seconded by Councillor Ferguson. All agreed? Thank you, members. And then item 3.2. Leanne, it's the Banbridge Peace Plan. So I'll hand over to Leanne.
Thank you, Chair, and evening, members. Members, you will know that we did quite a comprehensive presentation on this, the Banbridge Place Plan, just before we took it out for public consultation. So the public consultation on the Place Plan has now concluded, and the final drafts of both the plan and all of the associated assessments, impact assessments, are included for members. There are no substantive changes to the plan or to the impact assessments following the public consultation, and the plan has been approved by the Community Planning Partnership. So tonight we're seeking final approvals here from Council. I'd also just draw members' attention to the fact that we are planning to move ahead now with Dromore as the next place plan that we had agreed to, and there's some information in the report, members, about how we'll move forward with the terms of reference for that. So tonight we're seeking approval for the Banbridge Place Plan and the associated impact assessments. Thank you.
Thank you, Liam. I'll bring in Councillor Ferguson.
Thank you, Chair. And firstly, I'd like to send my thanks to Elaine and her team for bringing this strategic thinking on place plans to our borough. Development and regeneration are key to keeping our towns current, but the right type of development shaped by community and business is the type of development that would deliver real change for our residents. This place plan for Banbridge will shape development over the next 5 to 10 years. And it has a clear set of outcomes and 13 big development ideas, with spaces, places and the natural environment receiving a very high endorsement from local residents. Ideas that complement the private development of the old police station, along with the big idea of a riverside walk, to the extension at the F.E. McWilliams Gallery, which is a shining light in Banbridge for arts and creativity. The potential in Banbridge is clear. Translating these plans into actions remains the challenge. Therefore, can officers outline how external and internal funding resources are proactively aligned to the development ideas in these plans and how this sits with the current plan position? And just finally, Chair, while I support the development of place plans, there are many areas in our borough who have not benefited from this type of development plan, where the regeneration need is great. Small settlements such as Rathryland, where business vacancy rates and building dereliction numbers are high, and where a coordinated and strategic development plan would provide the consolidation of strong community support towards a more strategic approach to regeneration for the people of Rathryland. Therefore, I'm requesting an options paper to be brought back to committee on how development plans for Rathryland and similar size settlements in the borough can be progressed, so that members can consider a viable development plan for those towns in need and on the periphery of our borough. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Firstly, to pick up on the query around the proactive internal and external resourcing for the place plans. So as you will know, our place plans are part of our community planning approach. We have a two-pronged mechanism then for how we look at the monitoring and the proactive development and oversight of those. Firstly, there's a place board as part of our community planning structure, and that's where all of those external bodies come together, and it's part of their role to look at not just this place plan, but all of the place plans, and have oversight of that, and oversight as to how the partners around that table are actively seeking to see the actions within it delivered. Internally, for us as an organisation, against each of the actions within the place plan, a head of department has been assigned as the lead SRO for that, and it's their responsibility then to look for how those actions make their way into the work, be it of council, if it's appropriate for council to be a lead partner in that action, or to seek and work with others in partnership for how we move broader actions forward, because the place plan has actions that are both deliverable and realistic, and we know will be delivered by council, and you will see those then make their way through our business plans and linked through those heads of department to the place plan action, and also actions which are longer term and more aspirational in nature, for which we will have to lobby and work with other partners to see them come to fruition. That's the two mechanisms that we have in place to try and ensure that the place plans be delivered and that we have internal and external resources working towards that end goal. With regards to an options paper, that is something we can look at. Members will also know that the current setup for development of place plans was agreed by the Community Planning Partnership, because as I say, it's a Community Planning Partnership project, and they had agreed to initially look at the urban areas within the borough for those and had agreed a timetable in order to do those, and we still have a number of those urban area place plans to deliver out, but I can certainly work with other council officers and we can bring some thoughts forward on how place planning could be approached in other parts of the borough. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair, for that meeting there. Firstly, I'd like to put on record my thanks to Lisa, Elaine and Jennifer and everyone involved in the place plan. There was an exceptional amount of work went into it. I'm also happy to propose it. There's great engagement with the local community throughout this process, and I think that's reflected in the high satisfaction scores that were recorded. It is ambitious, and I think some of the big ideas are achievable in the short to medium term, such as F.E. McWilliams. And it is a platform that will allow the council to secure funding and hopefully realise some of the other ideas. So it is ambitious, and it's good that it is. So I'm happy to propose it, and if Councillor Ferguson needs a seconder for her options paper, I'm happy to do that as well, Chair.
Okay, Councillor Savage, bringing Councillor McClelland.
Yes, Chair, thank you for letting me in on this, and so thanks to Elaine and her team in terms of all of the work that has gone on in terms of this. And it's good that that something that was developed essentially sort of jointly between Banbridge and Dromore in June 2022 is finally moving to the next stage in terms of Dromore. So I think that that's welcome, and that's not meant as a sort of harsh comment or as a critical comment. It is to be welcomed that we're finally catching up in terms of Dromore. There's undoubtedly a great need in terms of the regeneration piece within Dromore, and I suppose as we develop the plan going forward, it's vital that there is as much communication with all stakeholders within Dromore as is possible. Essentially, it's vital that Dromore owns this plan. So if there was an encouragement, I would say, let's make sure that going forward that we have as much buy-in from stakeholders as possible. And, just it's great that we've moved to the next stage. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor McLellan. We've had a proposal from Councillor Savage. We need a seconder for the approving the plan. Seconded by Councillor Ferguson. Members, you all agreed then to approve the Banbridge Peace Plan and that the options paper come forward for those other developments? All agreed. Thank you, members. Moving on then to item 4.1, and Kate is going to present this, the portrait of King Charles. Bring in Kate.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, members. This is an item 4 decision. As set out in the report, the government has written to public authorities around the UK offering one free copy of a portrait of King Charles III to mark his new reign. The deadline for applications under the scheme is the 28th of March 2024. Participation in the scheme is voluntary. Members are being asked to decide this evening whether council should submit an application to receive a copy of the portrait of King Charles III. And in the event that council obtains a copy of the portrait, that discussion on the location of the portrait be a matter for the Merging Issues Working Group to consider. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Chair, and I'm just happy to propose this recommendation. Just ask for clarity around emerging issues. It'll come back to governance then in the second phase of this. I'm sure members will be told then as soon as this arrives if we are successful in that. Yep. Happy to propose.
Thank you, Alderman Baxter. Councillor Flaherty.
Content to second, Chair. Thank you.
Chair, I was just coming into second as well, so thank you. Sorry.
Okay, members, proposed and seconded, all agreed? Great. So there are no items of correspondence, so can I ask for a proposer and seconder to go into committee to consider the confidential business proposed by Councillor Savage, seconded by Councillor O'Dowd. So members and online viewers, in accordance with Schedule 6 of the Local Government Act, we will now be moving into a confidential session of the council. This means that we will be turning off the public feed of the meeting. This will be returned when the meeting is restarted. And I ask ICT officers to turn off the feed and confirm with me when the confidential section of the meeting can proceed. Thank you and welcome back to members of the public. Sure watching in vast numbers. We now move on to any other business, and I've not been notified of any other business members, so that is it, and enjoy the rest of your evenings. Thank you very much.